In a moment, we're going to welcome back an alum who has a great amount of distinction and admittedly is someone who is, well, probably grandpa or maybe even great-grandpa's age for some of you here, but has a fire and passion and zeal for life that is hard to describe. And I'm talking about Mr. Eugene Kranz. And Mr. Eugene Kranz is a 1951 graduate of Central Catholic High School. And I had the distinct pleasure of meeting him a year ago down in Houston, Texas, where he went on after he left Central, after becoming a pilot in the Air Force, eventually taking over or helping really move off the ground a program known as NASA. Some of you, of course, inevitably have heard of NASA. But it wasn't just that meeting him was so awe-inspiring or inspirational. It was who he was as a man, who he has become after his time at Central. And as a matter of fact, I consider him to be someone that I look up to because of how he interacts with the people around him, his family, who he puts first always and always. I could give a lot of different stories about why Gene has been impactful in the lives of not just Central Catholic. He's very philanthropic. He loves this place. Real quick, show of hands. How many of you have lost someone important in your life already at your stage? Right? Because you see, Gene, he lost his dad at an early age. Gene grew up over by the old Jeep plant there, Overland Parkway. Maybe some of you are familiar with the neighborhood. And Gene found a way to persevere despite that loss. He often credits 3 sisters here at Central Catholic High School that shaped him on his journey to being the man he is today. Now, Gene literally looks at Central as a launch pad, so to speak, to his amazing career. But he served as NASA's flight and mission director for 33 NASA missions. That's a lot. But most, maybe notably, is he helped put Americans, humans, on the moon, as he was the space director for Apollo 11. And then, maybe famously or infamously, the disaster that struck Apollo 13, he got those men back here safely. In many ways, he helped keep the space program alive. Through his time at NASA, he developed a tough and competent mindset. What a beautiful testimony to you all. As students here at Central Catholic High School, how can you become more tough and competent day in and day out? Because it's something I see in each one of you. He has received so many awards, I could not even begin, but the highest civilian award in our country is the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and Gene is a recipient. He is the reason that we have a piece of the moon here on our campus. But what I have maybe most enjoyed getting to know Gene in my almost 3 years here at Central Catholic is his profound sense of faith. About 4 weeks ago, when all of this was coming together, because you see, tomorrow, the Toledo airport will be renamed after Gene. I called him and he said, "You're calling at the perfect time, Kevin. You're calling between church and coffee," because there's not an opportunity for Gene to maybe miss, I'd say, either of those. We are blessed. We're excited that this worked out, and maybe the person who traveled furthest for us to be here today. So at this time, we invite forward for a few words today, Mr. Eugene Kranz.
You know, the class of 2021, you're going to have a heck of a story to tell, because this has been a very challenging year. Kevin indicated that we all lost. I lost a very important person to me, my wingman in Korea. And It was probably the toughest New Year's I ever had. You know, the program Recognizing You is a program that recognizes tenacity. It recognizes commitment. It recognizes stepping up to a challenge. So it's a real privilege for me to be here this morning and join in your celebration. You know, each year, commencement season creates a feeling of fulfillment. And I see this as a time that represents the continuing renewal of the strength of our people and of our nation. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated another granddaughter who received her doctorate in physical therapy from Texas Tech. It was a challenge because I remember her phone calls as she was trying to deal with the first year's weed 'em out courses. She's here today. Haley, would you stand up? That's Dr. Haley. You know, Central Catholic provided the foundation for both my personal as well as my professional life. In 2007, Chris Kraft, Walter Cronkite, myself were designated as ambassadors of exploration. We joined the Mercury, the Gemini, and the Apollo astronauts in this recognition. And the awardees or surviving families were presented a lunar rock. And most of the astronauts donated that rock to their colleges or aviation or military museums. But I had no difficulty figuring out who I would give that rock to. It was Central Catholic, because this is where it all began for me. You know, I grew up in West Toledo, 2 blocks from Willie's Overland, and the plant whistle at noon was a constant reminder of the shift work of the people there building and producing the Jeeps during World War II. We had a lot of kids in our street, and the kids would go down to the parking lot at Willie's, climb in the Jeeps, and it was there that we learned to stick shift at the very early age, while most of us were still in grade school. And we'd drive around the parking lot until the guards caught up with us. You know, my father died when I was very young. I was a paper boy and a night stalker at A&P. And this was done to support my mother, who ran a military boarding house. So I grew up with the soldiers, sailors, and airmen who fought during World War II and taught of duty, honor, and country. I wanted to become a naval aviator, and 3 sisters, 3 nuns at Central Catholic, Sister Mark, Sister Patricia, and Sister Caroline, basically picked up the slack for me, and they said, I know you don't have a chance to go to college, but we will prepare you to go to the Naval Academy. And they did. But I failed the physical because I was living in brownies and chocolate milk at the A&P when I was working there. So I had to find another way. And these nuns found a scholarship for deceased veterans of World War I from the Ohio Elks Association, and I set off to college. In fact, I believe the nuns at Central Catholic taught me my first lesson that failure was not an option. And today's awards and honors ceremony celebrates your commitment to excellence and the fortitude, determination, and dedication that was required to achieve your goals. But I remind you that the word commencement means the beginning of another milestone in your life. As you leave here, you will face an uncertain future, much like mine was. And uncertainty is often good because it teaches you to exercise judgment and direction, picking career paths, continuing schooling, or deciding in marriage and family. The challenges are out there, and you see them every day. And they are not tasks for the timid. You have to be bold, courageous, and steadfast in this long and often tumultuous path to achieve your objective. Your education is your most enduring asset. Treasure it, grow it, share it. But now is the time to set new goals and establish a sense of direction that will ultimately determine your destiny. Throughout my life, I was fortunate to work for and work with inspirational leaders. These individuals taught me about risk, values, and destiny. And they taught me to make no small plans because small plans do not stir your blood. I began a career as a fighter pilot and learned of total commitment to a goal in my mission. In flight test, I learned to lead a team in high-risk endeavors. And in space, I learned of accountability for my actions and those of my team. All of this work involved personal risk, responsibility for lives of others, and in the case of space, national goals. Accept risk, for if there is no risk, anyone can do it. Without risk, there is no movement, no achievement, and definitely no impossible dream to conquer. Throughout your life, I hope you will seek leadership. Our nation needs leaders. And if you do, take it on with courage and determination. And many challenges will appear overwhelming. But do not surrender, because there is no obstacle that cannot be overcome with a proper determination and faith in yourself. Look at every challenge as an opportunity, and when you seize that opportunity and when you persevere and drive forward with passion, you will achieve that goal which may have been thought unattainable. Central Catholic has prepared you for the future, the coming years. They'll be full of surprises, redirection, victories, and even occasional failures. But your success at Central Catholic is no small thing. Your dreams have been transposed into reality by your graduation. And it was done by perseverance, resilience, and above all, belief in yourself. Through life, I've coached, led, and mentored thousands of men and women. And my first task is to determine who they are and what they stand for. In Mission Control, we've established expectations for every person that walks through those doors. They're called the foundations of Mission Control. Discipline, being able to lead and follow. Being able to follow as well as lead. I got that mixed up. Knowing that we must master ourselves before we can master our tasks. Competence. There is no substitute for total preparation and complete dedication, because work in space will not tolerate the careless or indifferent. Confidence, believing in ourselves as well as others, knowing that we must master fear and hesitation before we can succeed. Responsibility, realizing it cannot be shifted to others because it belongs to all of us. We must answer for what we do or what we fail to do. Toughness, taking a stand when we must, to try again and again, even means following a more difficult path. And finally, teamwork, respecting and utilizing the ability of others, recognizing that we all work toward a common goal, for success depends upon the efforts of all. I thank you for the invitation to share this special day with you. And in aviation parlance, I wish you fair skies and tailwinds on your journey. Go Irish!